All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. We got Josh here, Customer Success Manager, and John Winkler, VP of Operations, and Gabrielle Smith on the marketing team here at Clientbook. Thanks for joining me again, guys, and thank you for joining us. So let's make a plan. Let's talk about making a plan for the holidays. We've talked a little bit about clienteling in our last episode. We've talked about, setting things up, having a plan. Let's actually make one now. What's that look like?
So we're going to make a plan in multiple episodes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, because we talked in episode 1 about when you get off this podcast, go get your people in the room, write down, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get super tactical where we go week 1 November, week 2 November, week 4.
Yes.
What I want to talk now is more about getting the team mentally prepared for the holiday season and some things we can be doing right now, right? And I like to think of it in terms of retraining them, re-energizing them, and sort of engaging them in the holiday season, but as well as what clienteling looks like and sounds like.
For sure.
Okay? So let's talk about retraining them first.
Yeah.
Right, what do we, we got a couple weeks. What do we want to train them on?
Well, there's a couple of things that we obviously could train them on. Harking back to an older episode, right? We can train them on just general clienteling best practices. Hey, we need to be making sure that we're capturing contact information. Right. How do we do that? Okay, cool. We now have a QR code. We have kiosk mode. Plug it in manually, whatever that may be. So training them on the fundamentals.
Okay.
But then within the application itself, right, we can train on how do we then capture that information, right? It's no good if I just log all that information in my brain or on a piece of paper that could easily get thrown away. What tools and building out repeatable processes so that way down the line, right, I now know with confidence 3 months from now when I go look at this profile, I know where to look, I know where this information lives, and it's all there, consolidated, easy, ready to use.
I think there's so much that's important there. We are talking to an audience where I think many of them are using Clientbook. Mm-hmm. There's likely lots of people that aren't. Right? And whether you're using Clientbook or you're using a competitor or you're using nothing, right? I think understanding, based on your previous plan, what are the key things you want, you just said it, repeatable processes, right? That is so important. And in the last episode, we talked about the 3 customer types. We talked about before, during, and after the sale, right? So, what did we say was the most important thing we want to do when a customer walks in the store?
Capture their information.
Okay. So, if I'm building a training plan, my training plan for customer capture is going to sound like what? Hi, Josh. Thanks for coming into Clientbook Jewelers. Greet every customer, right? Mm-hmm. That seems obvious.
Right.
But not everybody's comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan on giving them my name and getting your name. Hi, I'm John. You are?
Hi, I'm Gabrielle.
Nice to see you, Gabrielle.
Oh, thank you.
But if I'm too aggressive, not aggressive enough, I don't. There's a lot of nuance to how you do that.
Yes.
Right? Is the team super comfortable with it? So, literally gathering the team around and making sure how they greet, how they ask open-ended questions, and how that leads into a clienteling application is absolutely something I would be training on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I also think, sorry if I could just, on a little bit of a tangent, I mean, being a little bit vulnerable here, a little bit. When I go into a jewelry store, into any type of store, I'm actually very much a little bit introverted.
Yeah, sure.
More often than not, I'm actually wearing headphones because I don't want to be bothered, right? I want to browse, I want to look.
Yep.
So I think in part of your training, it's always good to role play as well. And how do you approach someone that is, you're obviously super outgoing, super personable. It'll probably be really easy to have a conversation with you versus having a conversation with me. Mm-hmm. So, and there are probably some sales associates that are really good at breaking through the shell, at extracting that information, right? So they can step up and they can help train the team and they can help role play and go through those different scenarios, right? And don't judge a book by its cover, right? We had a great conversation last time as well. Again, I'm very resistant to salespeople.
Yep.
But once you break through the shell and we have a conversation and we're connecting on a personal level, I'll buy jewelry from you or I'll buy whatever from you more often than not, right?
Yeah,
so
Josh,
that goes into the calculus as well.
It is such an important point, and this is where I wish we could do 10 hours of podcasts.
Sure.
So we'll do a commercial instead. Okay, there's a great course that we offer that's versatility in selling, right? It's pace and focus. It's an understanding that high energy guy is greeted one way, analytical guy is greeted another way, right? More expressive is greeted, right? Mm-hmm. That is absolutely critical. If I walked up to you and went, "Hey, I'm John," I would lose you immediately. So when we talk, that's part of the, greet every customer based on their agenda, based on their pacing, et cetera, right?
Love it.
Absolutely critical. We talked about profile enrichment. So when we're doing training, we should be talking how to ask open-ended questions. And what we're going to talk about, I think, in the next episode is some of the real practical steps on how to build wish lists. Mm-hmm. I want to put the seed out there for everybody. Typically, the number one action that you can attribute a sale to from a clienteling application is the use and sending of wish list items. Mm-hmm. And so if you're going to do, number two, by the way, is thank you. Kind of crazy, right? Yeah. These, again, I'm harping on promotional messaging. Hi, come in for a sale.
Right.
Like, that's not great. Hi, I talked to your husband. I know he wants this. Here's a wish list. Mm-hmm. Works, right? So that's super important to teach. And then just re-establish the fundamentals with the teams that, right? Like log every customer information, be accurate, things of that nature, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing that I think is super important, and you talked about training. One of the most important things you can do when training a team, and no one likes to do it, is what?
I don't know. Tell me.
Role playing.
Role playing.
Role playing.
Oh, yeah.
Role playing, right? Yeah.
That makes sense.
And look, practice, build comfort, whether you're doing a role play, right? One of the things we've talked about your team. You have an incredible team of customer success managers, but none of them have actually sold jewelry. One of these days, I'm going to drag them all to a store with the iPad and have them wait on a customer.
There you go.
Right? Yeah. You go, hi, and try to do all that kind of thing, right?
Right, yeah.
So practice builds comfort. Have them use the system. What you never want to do is have someone doing something for the first time or not having a repeatable process when things get crazy. It's got to be muscle memory.
Yeah,
okay?
That's good.
Let's talk about re-engaging the team.
Yes.
How do we re-engage a team?
Well, so my thought, and I want to get Gabrielle's take as well, especially from like her like marketing perspective. But my big thing that I want to say is re-engaging the team is an investment. It takes time, effort, and energy. Just a couple months ago, I flew out to Chicago to go visit with one of our dear customers with CD Peacock, right? It was a 2 full day training thing, right? And so that's time you're taking people off of the sales floor. That's time, that they're off the sales floor. Again, it's an investment, right? So that's an important thing to put in as well that I just want to emphasize is you need to find the modem or find the way to re-engage your team. I find it best if we're on site with you, but if we're in a room together where we can like role play and it's a dedicated time, right? If we're over Zoom or if like they're distracted by people coming in and out, right? So I'll use CD Peacock as an example. We were actually off site, like we went out of the storeroom floor and we rented off like a conference room, right? So it was a dedicated time and energy into this kind of specific thing. Yeah. So
they made it important.
Yeah. I also brought treats, which was super
treats
nice.
And chocolate
and so
right.
that was the one thing I was told. I was like, hey, when you come and train our team, like they respond really well to like food. But again, that's still a good point. How are these sales associates going to respond, and how are we going to, how are they going to feel engaged? Do they like treats?
Yeah.
Great. Do they like swag? Cool. Let's bring some swag. Right. Whatever it may be. But the highlight for me is it is an investment, right? It's going to take time, and you have to just understand that. But if you do take the time and you do re-engage them and you get to their level and you speak their language, they're going to be bought in and they are going to implement those steps that we're trying to do.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Thank you. Think about a time when you were in a workplace and you started off being engaged in your work, then you became disengaged.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
So I don't have jewelry experience, but I do have retail experience. And my first job, I was 17 working in a retail store. And I was super excited. First job, so exciting, you know, learning the trade and everything. And there was a lot of like, you know, interaction and engagement with me because I was new and people were, you know, getting me excited. And then, you know, then it tapered off because that communication was lost. And they were like, all right, she knows what she's doing. And it got boring real fast. So it was easy to get disengaged. And I did work a Black Friday with them and they did kind of have to do that work to re-engage people.
But what specifically needs to happen, whether it be retail or here, to make you feel engaged in what you do? Because it's really important. Like training, right? Do I know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Right? That's a big one because nobody wants to feel incompetent.
Right.
What else is important to get re-engaged?
And you've said this before, but the praise is so important, especially for people who really respond to those words of affirmation. Telling somebody that what they're doing well will encourage that behavior again. Okay. You know,
so
that's huge
training, positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing that I think is super important is how does my work contribute to the overall success of the team.
A big vision there.
Right? And understanding that.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you're on the marketing team, if all day long you were sending out social media posts and you never saw, was anybody logging on? Like you probably get really excited when you get X number of clicks, right?
Yeah. 100%.
I'm not paying you any more money for extra clicks. Are we paying you money for clicks?
Absolutely not.
Should we be paying you for clicks? Right? And so understanding, right, from an engagement standpoint, is my work valuable?
Yeah.
Do I know how to do my work? Am I being rewarded for my work? That gets me super engaged.
Yeah.
And then the energy piece, right? So we talked about retrain. I think I did it out of order. Re-energize and re-engage, but they're kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? What makes you feel energized?
Yeah, I like that you were talking about, you know, kind of reconnecting to that purpose.
Yep.
You know, because you're right. If you're just, you know, plugging along, just doing what you're doing because you're told to, not because it's building to something bigger. Yep. It matters. Okay. Like that's a good motivator. I think, is just having purpose.
So train.
Yeah.
Reconnect to the purpose. Celebrate wins. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yes.
Okay. Episode 1, for those of you who didn't see it, the team was a little bit verklempt because I didn't necessarily do what well.
Communicate.
I did not communicate my brain. I changed expectations on the fly. Right? So make sure you're communicating.
Yes.
You said in an earlier episode, right? Repeatable process. These are the things you need to do now. So when it gets crazy, we're ready to go.
Yeah, it becomes muscle memory for a lot of those things.
Right.
Love it.
The chaos versus organized chaos. That's how I like to think about it.
Yep. So, if you're looking at the next 9 weeks, 2 weeks ago we talked about looking holistically, right? Understanding what's in front of you and starting to put together some processes from a time management standpoint. We then talked a little bit about the overall view of clienteling and how to get your team understanding that concept about the customers before, during, and after, and the 3 types of customer base. This week, focusing on, like, just get the team excited about what's happening, make sure they understand the expectations, celebrating those wins, creating momentum, and then train some more. One of the best leaders I ever had, that was one of those repeatable mantras: train some more. It's interesting. He had a personality very similar to yours. Was not super like over the top, whatever. Yeah. But was incredibly like, I never had more respect for somebody, and he was just very, John. People make a difference. Train some more. Repeatable process. Standards like this was like. Now, for the next episode, we're going to get some real how to use the application. Yeah? We ready?
Yep.
This is now the Josh Show.
I'm really excited. I've just been itching to go.
Okay.
It's going to be the Josh Show. So thank you for joining us. We're kind of at the high level view, and then we're going to jump into the little more nitty gritty of how to do it within Clientbook here with us in our next episode. So stay with us.